Sambo and Jiu Jitsu are so commonly mentioned together, but rarely do you get to see these two martial arts go head to head. Until today, I had the opportunity to roll against Josh Watkins, who's a Sambo world medalist, a 15-1 MMA pro, a judo black belt, and he practices Jiu Jitsu. What more can this guy really put on his resume? Let's see how I can do against a Sambo world medalist, only using Jiu Jitsu.
We dive into the round, and the first thing to be noted is that my Sambo friend likely wants to wrestle, but we're so limited on mat space that he's forced to take the bomb position and I'm working on passing. I initiate a drop pass, which is really as easy as it sounds. I just drop my weight on top of him. But to not make enemies on the mat, it's important you drop your weight away from them. Instead of slamming his ribs with my heavenly ass cheeks, I can take a little bit of space between the two of us, and I'm still going to get the pass once I can peel his hands and start to flatten him out. Josh is currently getting folded like a pretzel, but he's not going to stand for that, and he starts posting against me every time I try and move and create a little bit of an opening against him. At this point, I'm starting to get a little bored of the roll, and we're only 30 seconds in, so I give myself some new objectives. My goal is to pass his guard as many times as I can and rack up a ton of points against him. We'll see how well that plays out for me in the future. Until then, I shove his knees to the side and do a really lazy knee cut. I'm sure JT Torres is really proud of that technique, especially the part where Josh gets his guard back just by framing a little bit, but that's nothing a little outside passing can't handle. And this time around, I throw him into a heavy knee mount so he's forced to go into me, which is great because I can start scooping up his neck and limiting his options and how he can escape. I'm practically knee surfing out there, deciding how I want to float above Josh by switching between both my legs so I can keep the pressure heavy on him the entire time, and I'm just waiting for him to counter me. The reason I don't flatten him out completely is so I can bait him into going to the front head. Then I throw a guillotine over Josh and he starts rolling into mount. Everything's looking pretty good for me, but what you can't see on the camera is how he's peeling my fingers away. The one risky thing about mounted guillotines is you don't want them to scoot out the back door, so I let go of the guillotine to maintain top control. Now it's my job to stop Josh from hitting his head on the floor. After saving this wounded animal, Josh finally starts to find his way out of mount. He starts by scooping out my ankle and shoving it into quarter guard. Then he turns into me, which gives him half guard, but my knee is already halfway out. Josh's grip is way too loose over my knee, so I transition to the front head by rolling out of his guard. Then I roll him over and start fondling him from the backside. It's at this point I'm starting to wait for the Sambo beast to come out. I understand that Jiu Jitsu and Sambo have completely different rule sets, but they also share a lot of similarities with all their grappling. Everything's been going super well for me up to this point. I'm controlling Josh worse than a clingy girlfriend, completely pillaging his village like a true Viking. And when I'm on the brink of victory, nothing could go wrong for me, right? Wrong. Because I start pushing into Josh and he finally shows off that judo black belt by throwing me onto the mat like a stubborn child. In a panic, I quickly start to work up, because nothing's worse than getting tapped right after trash talking. He's got me locked in a 3/4 Nelson, thrashing me across the mat with all the fans to see. My neck is both exposed and compromised. Surely he's gonna go for a submission, there's no way I can get out of here, right? Well, actually I just time his transition, then flip him over and land right back on top. While it looks scary for a moment there, now I have a second where I can reflect on everything that just happened, and I see now that Josh loves to try and wrestle up into the front head. I happily oblige his request to try and wrestle up, then I throw him into the truck to forcibly take his rear. He fights it for a little bit, but I'm not gonna let a Sambo judo artist get away that easily.
Now while you guys continue to watch this awesome roll, let me tell you about my sponsor for the video today, DraftKings. If you've been looking to level up your fight night, MMA experiences, and get some skin in the game, then DraftKings has you covered. Right now, all new customers get a $1,500 no sweat bet with a $5 deposit. And you can get a bonus bet in your original amount in the event that your first one just didn't work. So if you download the DraftKings app, use promo code Tyler Spangler, you can use those bets for this weekend's card with Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier. And if you want some bigger payouts, you can try and use DraftKings same game parlays. That means you can make multiple bets for the same fight. If you know how they're gonna win and what round they're gonna do it, that's a bigger payout for you. However, if sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a chance to win cash prizes. If you're interested in all this, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code Tyler Spangler and deposit just $5 and get a no sweat bet up to $1,500. That's promo code Tyler Spangler only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Great, thanks for watching my ad even if you don't like it because it really supports the channel. Unfortunately, during that time I lost top position and now I'm going into a leg entanglement on Joash. I know I'm making the executives at Foot Finder really happy with this attack, but as I go for my patented ankle guillotine, he steps out off the mat and almost takes out the camera woman at the same time. We're like two chimpanzees being forced to wrestle in the smallest cage possible. We're just trying to do our best. I actually don't know if I'm allowed to say that, please don't cancel me. We get a quick glimpse of what it's like for a Sambo artist to try and pass guard. He leaves his other leg too exposed however, so I'm able to scoop underneath and I start elevating his hip positioning as fast as I can. Joash is giving me that can opener treatment, so I go out the back door looking for a leg entanglement, but then have to bail and go to bottom front head. I've learned he really loves this position, and there's really no reason why you wouldn't want to go to front head because it leaves you with so many different submission opportunities and them with zero. Thankfully, I don't feel too threatened from here. He started moving his hands around a lot and I don't have to worry about getting punched, but then he leans into me trying to go for a guillotine, which, well, it's probably better we just don't talk about that. Don't worry, Joash's front head and guillotines definitely got better throughout the week as I continue to show him how to improve them, but the nice thing is his guillotine attack gave me a leg entry, which I decided to do absolutely nothing with. With only 30 seconds left in a round, Joash is trying to make his mark after being put in terrible positions for most of the round. I try and scoop up the leg, but he does a good job putting me in the front head, then he transitions into another 3/4 Nelson. I rolled through thinking he wanted the darce, but he actually never changed his hand positioning. I'll say that 3/4 Nelson is great for control, but it offers no choking potential, so you really gotta switch things up if you want the submission. Either way, it was a great round with Joash. Don't take anything too seriously, he's a great person and an even better MMA fighter.